Yeah, listener, listen. The reason we all love fighting sports is we all relate to the Rocky story, the underdog story, right? Like, who was Rocky Balboa? Rocky Balboa was a poor guy from the streets of Philadelphia, worked as muscle for a loan shark in the mafia, which they touched on very lightly in the movie, which I liked. They didn't overwhelmingly make it anything about the mob, right? It was just like you're down on your luck, you're from the ghetto. And with that, he beat the most talented man in the world at his sport. And that's what we like seeing is the human overcoming. So do you have a chance? Of course you have a chance. I mean, I will say that smaller weight classes don't age as well as older weight classes. But I don't know how old you are. You didn't really tell me. Like, there used to be in boxing when you were 30 and you were above bantamweight that you were ancient, right? Like, now we've also proven that to be untrue, right? Like, we've seen Bernard Hopkins fight for the world title in his 50s at light heavyweight, and we've seen older guys have success even in lighter weights. I mean, I think Donaire was in his late 30s last time he competed really competitively for a bantamweight title or super bantam or whatever. So everything we think we know about the game, we really don't know, and that goes back to the Rocky story. It goes back to you don't know what's going to happen. It's about putting that human will and determination over everything, and that's the big thing in life. That's why we love fighting sports so much. We all relate to it because I think in one way or the other, we don't have to be fighters, but guess what? We're fighting to survive in this world today that we're in, right? Like, we have to fight to live. We have to fight at our job. We have to fight for our family. We have to fight for all those things constantly, constantly, constantly. And, there's always going to be people putting us down and telling us we can't do it. And it's your own human will and desire. Now, is it easier for some people? Of course it is, right? Like, some people are such gifted athletes, and we've gotten a lot more of that in MMA lately, right? Like the John Joneses, like they pick up kickboxing like it was playing a kickball in the park with the kids, right? Like, really easily, when it might have taken someone else a lifetime to really learn those tools and those things. But listen, life is always going to be easier for certain people, but it doesn't count out the underdog. And that is why Rocky is an institution, not as a boxing movie, but as a movie for life, right? Like, so can you do it? Absolutely. I believe you can do it, listener. Look, everything's one step at a time. It's the old Chinese proverb, like a journey of a million miles begins with one step, right? Like, you got to get there. And if you don't step forward, you'll never accomplish that journey. Now, will you become a successful fighter? Listen, very few people are, listener. I mean, that's the reality. And few people reach the top. But it doesn't really matter. My jiu-jitsu instructor said this to me recently. We had a seminar with Carlson Gracie, who's the grand master of the organization. He said, look, compete once at each belt level. But the reality is jiu-jitsu gives you so much mentally, physically, and everything else. That competition is 1%. So don't lay everything on it. You may not win whatever fights you have, listener, but believe me, you'll gain a lot from it. That's truth. Read my book, Warrior of the Light.